So, I thought this might be kind of an interesting or entertaining video, or might intrigue some of you in regard to the whole mental health area. Now, please note, if you're unhappy, you're depressed, or something like that, this is probably a wrong video for you. So, if that is the case, then I'd highly recommend you don't watch this video. It won't do you any good. This is more from a perspective of what the legal areas can happen to someone if someone does something bad or unpleasant. So anyway, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a mental health doctor, I have helped people with depression myself, but please beware, I'm not a trained psychologist or anything like that. This as well is not legal advice. So let's get into it as a whole. So the reason I decided to make this video was I saw a couple of times from boomers sort of attacking people with depression, which I thought was kind of weird and kind of screwed up. So I thought I should talk about it from a legal perspective, why exactly what we're doing can actually get them in trouble with the law. So we have to look at some factors which a lot of people seem to not know. So if, for example purposes, someone says to you quite clearly, I have depression or I'm on medicine for unhappiness. If someone says it to you, it doesn't matter if you listened or you paid attention or not. If they say it to you and you say something to them which then makes them do something to themselves, self-harm or take extreme and suicide, you can be held accountable. You can do time in jail or you can be charged. Or if it goes extreme and they decide for some reason to end it, their family can very easily sue you. You don't have a defense. This is why what you say to people can actually get you in trouble in some cases. Please note, I'm not talking about, you just say something like, oh, you're dumb or don't like you. It would have to be something extreme which would then make the person for some reason do self-harm or do something to put their life in danger. You don't have any right if you're telling people that. If someone tells you they have that condition, you shouldn't then be saying, I'm going to push you around. That itself will not protect you in court. That itself will be used as strong evidence against you. You can't then use the excuse, I didn't know. Because I've seen quite a few court cases where that sort of idea plays out, and most judges are not going to be like, yeah, sure, Steve or Sarah, yeah, you're cool. None of it matters to me, that's alright. You're free to go home. No, in most cases what will happen is they'll be pretty annoyed with you and they won't let you off easy. So for example purposes, just to give a simple example, so let's just say someone says they're depressed to you. You tell them something and they decide for some reason to jump off a bridge. If they decide to jump off a bridge for some reason, you're held accountable. If you're going to say, okay, but yeah, I never told anyone. If the person recovers and says quite clearly to the police when they get found, or ambulance sort of driver, these sort of people, and says, so, hey John, so why exactly did you decide to jump off a bridge? Oh yeah, Steve McDonald told me to do it. Do you think if he does say that to the ambulance driver, I was like, Steve's cool, he's no issue, he's alright. Do you think that will be a good defense if something like that happens? Do you think he'll be like, yeah, sure, no problem, that's okay, mate, you're fine, don't worry about it, you're safe? No, he himself, if he wants to, the ambulance driver can, if he wants to, can report it, because in theory, you have basically committed a crime. The police as well, if the police investigate or arrest it, which they probably will, the police themselves can come to your door and say, so, hey Steve, so what exactly were you saying to this guy John? You said to him, he said to us that you told him to jump off a bridge. Did you say it, yes or no? And please be aware, the police themselves will try very hard to get that out of you, even if you're going to say you never said it. They will quiz you, and some coppers are very smart or very good at questions, so they will probably break you if you did say that. If you didn't, then fair dues, but in the case here, it would be that person did say it. So that itself can mean, in theory, you can get in a lot of trouble. You can't then use the excuse, I didn't know, I was none the wiser of what happened, it just sort of happened, that's not a defense, dude. It never will be. So this is why what you say, if it gives a bad reaction to someone, they themselves are entitled to, if they want to charge you by simply making you go to jail or charge you money. They can do it. Another good example would be from online perspective. I saw a few times, which I think is quite a good example to give, was someone was basically telling someone else he was unhappy or depressed, which the guy clearly does have and still does. If someone tells you that and you decide to give them abuse or bully them, whatever you want to call it, that is not a defence in court. No one is going to say to you, "Wow, you're such a cool guy, you're really smart." The guy's like, "Wait, were you the guy that said it?" And if you say yes, like, "Really?" And then basically you can get in trouble for it. The same as well, if something does happen to a person, whether it's self-harm, if you're going to say, "Okay, but it's just self-harm," well, whether you want to say it or not, the same things still apply. If someone, for whatever reason, decides it's a good idea to just show it, like pretend to cut himself, I'm just pretending to cut. If they do that and they do get hurt, they can sue you, dude. They can sue you. Their parents can sue you. Their brothers can sue you. Their aunties, anyone can sue you for it. If you're going to say, "Oh yeah, but he died, so it doesn't matter anymore." Even if you're going to say that did happen, which I don't think is a good idea, the family themselves are still entitled, if they want to sue you. You can't get off of things and be like, "Oh yeah, but he's gone now. I'm in charge now, sir." Go, bro. You can still get charged. You can still do time for jail. No one's going to be like, "Wow, you're the innocent party. Nothing went wrong. You're the cool guy or cool girl." No, you can get charged for it. That's why if you're doing that to people who do have mental health problems, it's a very bad, stupid idea as a whole. If you don't want to talk to people these sort of things, that's your choice. But if you're going out of your way to mistreat people who do have mental issues, no one is going to support you and be like, "Wow, you're such a cool guy. I'm sure that's why you done it. You're the innocent party." People are like, "Wait, were you that dickhead that done it?" No one's going to be impressed, to be honest with you, if that's what you're into. Another thing I want to include before I end this video is a wee bit into doxing, because doxing to a certain degree is connected to this issue. So, let's use a simple example. For some reason, someone decides to dox someone. It doesn't matter why, but for some reason they dox someone. So if someone doxes someone else, and for some reason it makes them really uncomfortable and they do something to themselves, if you have committed a doxing attack, it doesn't matter why you've done it, if you hate a person, whatever it may be, if you do it to someone, you can get charged for it. You can't then make up excuses and say, "Oh dude, I didn't know." This again goes back to, would an average person know that doxing is a bad idea or wrong? The answer would be yes. So if the person does do something because of what you've done, you can get into legal trouble. Another good example is, I think if I remember correctly, it was an American Latino guy who was doing like a load of, like, I can't remember what you guys call it, but basically you phone up the police and you pretend someone's being held hostage or has got a gun. So basically they come to your house, check everything's okay, and sometimes accidents can happen because either simply the way you acted or someone else did, some things can happen. So if that does happen, which it can do quite easily, because police can be stressed, people can be stressed, and unfortunately some things happen. So if in the event something like that does happen and you were the one that phoned them for whatever reason, you can get sued. You can get sued by a family. You can get sued. You can get in trouble by police. For example, if in the event for some reason this did happen, and say, make it simple, a gunfight happened between the victim and also police, and for example purposes the police got shot and he was unfortunately in a bad state, after it, the police guy is fully within his rights to sue you for as much money as he wants. If the guy, for example, because of it was such a bad shot, he's now, say, for example, is disabled, so he's now got to pay medical bills for the rest of his life, he is within his rights to sue you for as much as he can get out of you. That's how the laws work. So if you're going to go dox someone, I would never recommend you do it to someone. You can be held in trouble in a court of law. It doesn't matter if you thought you were doing it because it was fun, funny, cool, or whatever stupid idea you got. you can still be held accountable by what you say or what you do to people. If the event causes them mental stress and because of that they do something against themselves or potentially even someone else, you can be held accountable. So for example purposes, if someone has make it simple, a big anger management problem, if you tell them something which makes them very angry and they beat someone up, the person that gets beaten up and the person that done it, they could actually put forward the argument in the case that it wasn't actually his fault because the person that spoke to him earlier on made him really angry and that caused it. That doesn't mean the person get fully off it probably, but it does mean that if a person does that, he can actually sue you for what you told him, because in theory it'd come back and says, so hey John, so what exactly made you really angry? Oh, this guy Frank told me something really cheeky, it really made me angry. Did he now? So you're saying then, if I'm understanding you correctly, that what this person told you, that itself was what made you angry and then you beat up your friend? Yes, John, that's what happened. Okay, so anyway, we're going to let you off with a lighter sentence because of that. We're also going to charge this other guy for what exactly he said to you, and we will then give you some level of compensation plus your friend in regards to what exactly happened. So that can happen. Now that's just a very simplified form, but it can happen. This is why in general what you're saying to people, if it does give some bad reaction, you can be held accountable. Please note, I'm not telling you this to scare you what you can and can't say, but if someone does tell you something like that, you shouldn't go out of your way to pick on them or whatever you want to call it. I mean, for example, if someone tells me I'm dyslexic, I'm not going to then spend the whole day making fun of them because their spelling's not as good as mine. That would be pretty scummy. The same as well, if someone tells me you're autistic, I'm not going, well, you're autistic, that's really funny. I'm like, no, I'll show respect to them. Even though I don't know everything about the condition, I'm not going to go out of my way to mock someone's conditions. To me, it's just a scummy thing to do. Anyway, I hope that makes sense to you. So, in simple terms, for you, it works like this. What you say to someone, if it does make them have a reaction to it for some reason, you can be held accountable in law. Or you can go to jail in extreme cases, or you can be forced to pay money to them in regards to what exactly you do. So, if for some reason you keep bullying someone and for some reason you do self-harming, their family's more entitled to sue you for it, whatever you got, bro. You can't use the excuse, oh, I didn't know, I thought it was acceptable. That's again not a defence. Stupidity or inconfidence to comprehend the situation is not a defence. It never will be. Every law in most cases applies to like this. You have what the average person do. So if an average person is like that going straight, that means what an average person would feel in regards to what exactly you're told is how they govern what exactly is acceptable punishment or what exactly should happen to you when something happens. So go back to the example I've used before. In a simple example, if someone falls in the rain in a shop, just say water's going through a thing and so if someone falls, is the shop accountable? Yeah. If for example purposes it's completely boarded off, you have two staff members guarding it, and you go out of your way to push into it, then it's your fault. This is what you kind of have to consider in court. It's about trying to work out who is actually at fault. That is the principle of a court case. It's trying to determine who is to blame for something that happened. If for some reason it goes down a weird route and they can't determine, then in theory nothing happens because you can't prove what happened, what caused it to happen, so you can't be charged or they can't win money from you because in theory they can't prove what happened. If they can't prove what happened, then there's no cause or no reason for a court case to take place as a whole. Anyway, that's all. Thanks. Bye.